Because to me, relationship dynamics is like almost theatrical. I feel like there's a director and I feel like there's actors.
Welcome to another episode of the Sistory, Healinghood, where you come to the hood to be healed. How's everybody doing? I hope good. I hope everybody's been studying and really just processing everything that's going on in the world, because shit is crazy. Like I told y'all, it was going to be a hostile takeover for 2025. Like, y'all, for real, just prayers go out to anybody who's been affected by what's going on thus far. So yes, and to everybody else who's prospering and everything, like, hey, I see you. I've been doing pretty good myself, actually. I'm gonna go into tonight's topic tonight because it's nighttime here, but whatever. It's not something that I really care about so much. I feel like more women in general, but everybody should upgrade their what can I say, their unique ability of knowing human behaviors. So I would say they need to upgrade, like, their apathy, if you would say. This is a weird swing from apathy to seduction, but it's seduction. It's seducing. It's the art of being able to captivate somebody and have their will at your will. Some people would say it's like manipulation, but it's not really manipulation. It's deeper than that. Manipulation has an intent behind it. Seduction is something that's older than manipulation. You can say things to manipulate people. Seducing somebody is more of it's an art. It's more of a form of how you go about your everyday tasks without even saying a word, without bringing any attention to you. And to me, ladies and gentlemen, that's power. Now, the actual definition of seduction is to have the power to entice someone to engage in sexual behaviors. But I'm telling you right now, it's so much deeper than that. To me, seduction is older than sexuality in itself, because people can seduce somebody without any type of sexual gratification from that. And that's really what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just like being out here seducing people to just have sex with them. That's the lowest form. That's like using religion and using God to try to seduce somebody into your world, your realm. So it's more deeper than that. I took some notes, y'all, so just bear with me, okay? Seduction is a ritual. Like the title of this video is Seduction, the meaningful ritual. Okay? Now, with any ritual, it is more of a same song and dance form of an initiation. And you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. I get sick and tired when I hear people being like, ritual, that has to be witchcraft. Like, shut your butt up. Shut your ass up. Because a ritual is an initiation of some form into a secret group or a secret idea or a secret way of life. So the real people who created rituals was men. They created rituals as forms of initiation, and they do it to this day. Like, so just follow the history, you know what I'm saying? Follow the history. Nowadays, we're getting a real cheap form of seduction. It's more of a pseudo type of initiation, a psychological initiation form of captivating a power or some idea or a society group over somebody else. Usually, most initiations have to deal with a secret or obscured society or a ideology that is definitely otherworldly. When you're initiated into something, that is what you are. Like, you are branded as that which is initiating you in there. For somebody to initiate you, it is for somebody to bring you into their world. Okay? So just think about what I'm saying now. We're talking about seduction. Okay? We're talking about you having the power to bring somebody into your world for your will, for you to have power over them, for your means. I feel like nowadays we've lost this ideology. And we have guys, a whole movement of red pillars, and we have females, the whole feminist ideology, which really puts a spotlight on the lack of essential masculinity and essential femininity. So both sides is lacking. And since both sides are lacking, it seems like we're in trouble. But just, for a little bit. Everything that I'm telling you, you can take for a grain of salt. I suggest everybody to go do their own research. And some books that definitely helped me along with my research, and I suggest you guys to definitely go check them out, is first and foremost, because I am a woman, I do lots of inner work and inner world work, shadow work, anything to work on me psychologically and spiritually for me to physically be the best person that I can be. So a book that I'm going to share with you guys is The Sacred Woman. I believe this is written by, I'm not going to even say her name. If y'all want me to tell you the books, just comment down below and I'll put them in the description and let you know all the books. But there's a couple books here that I don't have up here because I read them so much and I go through them so much. It's just like, what did I do with that book? I don't even remember. But the major book that definitely got me into the realm of seduction and the magical spells behind a good seduction was Robert Greene in his book, The Art of Seduction. Now, this book is pretty much a blueprint or a hard copy, like I said, blueprint of a form of seduction at its purest form. I was introduced to this book when I was a teenager, and of course, like most teenagers, I did not know what I was looking at or what I was introduced to. But over the years, you take that knowledge and you have experience to go with that knowledge, so it transforms who you are. It transformed me. It transformed my way of thinking as a woman and just as a mother, a daughter, a wife, everything. And I suggest everybody read at least 2 of his books, but really all his books, because he is put here on this earth for a reason, to share knowledge with us. And one thing that I definitely appreciate that he said, which is so true, is people have spent their whole lives finding out this research and these knowledge to put in these books, and all we have to do is read them. And it should take you less than a few months to read them and stuff like that. So you can gain all that knowledge that someone has spent their entire life trying to figure out. You can gain that knowledge in like a month or 2. Like, that is powerful. And it's more than just gaining that knowledge, it's actually being able to do something with what you learn. Because that's the whole point of these books. If it was easy for people to just go out there and seduce other people, like, this world would be a different place. But it actually takes work behind what you learn. It's more than just having the intel. It's acting on what you have to make the best situation, to have the best outcome that's going to benefit you overall. So I feel like the red pill movement in the feminist movement are definitely more exposed now and heavily supported by the opposite sides, because we have this barrier that's put up between gender roles, age gaps, women, toxic masculinity, women hitting the wall, childbearing years, low sperm count, the chemicals that they put in the food, the microplastics that's, in everything. So all these factors have a huge role in why these movements are definitely like exploding right now. But really what it does is it exposes the weakness and the immaturity of both men and women on both sides. That's what both those movements represent. And I'm not saying necessarily like the antidote is to seduce somebody, but just think about it for a second. Okay? Everybody has the ability to be seduced. Okay? Like, really think about that. Everybody wants to be seduced. Everybody has the ability to be seduced. Everybody has the ability to be enticed by something that they really have desire for, right? So if everybody has the ability to be seduced, you have some people who are going to take it a step further, and they're going to have the ability to seduce people. Okay? Now follow me, because stuff get a little bit mathematical, but follow me, okay? That's why I say, y'all, this is a hot topic to me. This is one of my favorite things. I wrote everything down like multiple times. I was gonna type it up, but I said, you know what? I'm doing this from my soul. I'm doing this from my heart. And eventually, I would like to break off into more of each individual gender role when it comes to seduction, because this is such a broad topic. It's such a broad topic. It's such a good topic, though, that I feel like definitely has to be talked about, because everybody has that desire to be wanting to be led to a different world and exposed to something that you never thought you would have the ability to just relinquish and surrender, your power to. And that's a seduction right there. One thing I feel like I said, everybody doesn't have the ability to seduce. People have, or not even people, society has created this scarcity of actual unique individuals. Okay? Society has created a scarcity of people who can live authentically. Authentically? Well, if I didn't say that word right, just, put in the comments how I'm supposed to say that word, and make sure you use the dashes so I can pronounce that shit right. Okay? With that being said, the uniqueness of the individual and the authenticity of the individual, which both has to take work in developing. Nobody's born just perfect like that, at least anymore. We have lost the notion of, like I said, our society roles, the brave man or the ladylike woman. Like, we have strayed from there. So if you already have your foot into understanding psychologically and human behavior wise the nature of each other, the nature of a female, the nature of a man, knowing that men want to be brave and women want a brave man, just like men want a lady. They don't want another man. They want a feminine lady. And ladies do want to be feminine. Ladies feel like they can't be, There's this imbalance thing that's going on, which makes it even more harder for people to psychologically get out of who they are and who they think of themselves, to think about how another person may think about the situation. To think ahead of what that other person may think and the actions that they may take, setting yourself up for the next move. So since we have lost a little bit of who we are, especially society just accepts the fact that we can just, be responsible or accountable for who we need to be the best versions of ourselves, we have a short supply of real, hardworking, essential people who understand what I just said, basically, and the human nature behind being a woman and being a man and having the power to understand that I am a woman and I know that I can obtain certain things as a woman by me just being a woman and playing a woman, and vice versa. Like a man could just be a man and probably get further in life as a man, standing on business and just knowing that at the end of the day that he's got himself and he's secure as who he is as a man. That shit's not going to change for him. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week. So both of these individuals are in short supply because both of these individuals have real work that has to be put in order for them to be who they are and to be able to stand alone. Now, from reading all these different books, another book like I was telling you that I didn't have because I lost was Why Men Love Bitches. Right now it's women have read it and a lot of men have reacted to it. But she has a lot of good key points in there. And I feel like a lot of her points probably came from after she done read Granddaddy, Green over here, putting it down with some real knowledge. I have my own 3 rules when it comes to seduction. Now, by no means am I like this super seductress woman, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't just be out here seducing people left and right because I can or because I have the time to. Like I said, I'm a firm believer in rituals, healthy rituals. A seduction is definitely an initiation ritual to bond yourself with another person. And that's not a short-term thing. A true seduction is a very long-term, almost cat and mouse like game that you guys are able to play a certain part and know the limits of each part, and just know that limits are meant to be surpassed within, a certain parameter. They can be passed. I'm not no super like seductress or anything like that. I'm just saying I have read books, I have studied, I have experimented, not where like you have to experiment with people and sleep with them, because that's the end game of any seduction. It's over with once you start sleeping with people. But just test the waters a little bit, test the powers, just like any superhero, anybody who has powers. You need to practice so you know the limits of your powers and you know how far things can go before things get ugly and you need to get the fuck out. Okay? Anyway, I guess I keep delaying all these 3 rules. I'm trying to give you 3 rules and I'm just telling you right now. Okay? Okay, rule number 1 is, now you gotta think about these 2. All right, this is psychological. Psychologically, think about these, process these, and figure out how what I'm saying fits who you are, and it is who you want to be, and you see yourself doing what I'm saying, and not just seduction, but in all human behavioral aspects of your life, which is every decision that you make, any interaction that you have. Anything that you have to think about from the past. That's what I'm talking about right now. Okay, too much poison will kill you, but enough poison can heal you. It can even cure you. Okay? Too much poison can kill you. Enough poison can heal you. And some poison can even cure you. Okay? Meaning that too much of you doing all these seductive maneuvers on people is manipulation. It turns into manipulation. And everybody knows once somebody catches on that you're manipulating them, the gig is up. The jig is over. You're toast. You gotta move on to the next person, the next victim, the next person who's gonna tolerate your shit because they don't know. Because to manipulate people is to be a scum, okay? We are not manipulating people. We are simply using human behavior traits to maneuver and wage on people, okay? So, too much poison will kill, enough poison can heal and even cure, all right? The second one is, this is the most important one. This is especially for the ladies, okay? For the ladies. know thyself. Okay? Know thyself. Know yourself and be honest with yourself. Hold yourself accountable, and there won't be no surprises that you throw yourself, because you know already what you're capable of, what your deal breakers are, where you're going to break it off, what your boundaries are. You know, and it's important. You cannot even say that I seduced somebody, even in the remotest, smallest way, if you don't know yourself enough to get about yourself, to empathize and be like the person who you are trying to pretty much like seduce, who you're trying to throw that spell on. And seduction is a spell because it can be broken. And when it's broken, it's fucked up. It can have dire consequences if you don't know how to maneuver your way through human behavior, you know? But yeah, so the second one is know thyself, and then yourself holds no surprises. You may shock yourself because we're human and the human body does go into shock. But to surprise yourself, that's a human written off emotion because you weren't prepared. So you just say that you were surprised. Like, we're not going to play that game. The last one is very important, but I feel like you have to be like in deep into like reading these books and deep into doing the psychology and reading people's behaviors. And like I said, getting about yourself to being like, I wonder how that would affect that person if I would do that to that person, or I wonder how they're thinking about this. Are they thinking about me? You know, am I doing enough to sacrifice myself for their time, their energy, their essence of who they are? So those are definitely important things. And that is, seduction is something that is developed beyond your natural capabilities. Like it's something that goes on way beyond your control. It's like once it's set into motion, the centrifugal force like does its thing. Even when it seems like it's going way, 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 way out there, that shit will sling right back. It will slingshot right back. It will booby trap you right back. And that person will be right there again. You know what I'm saying? So seduction definitely is like, it has its own natural gravity pull, scientific and mathematical, you know, premise or equation for, formula for, and you just have to trust the process. Because if it's scientific, if it's mathematic, it has an answer, it has an outcome. Just trust it, and it's either gonna manifest itself to be something that you were expecting, or it's gonna manifest itself to be something that you weren't expecting, and you're gonna have to clean up that damn mess if it's too bad. But always just, you know that the seductive process that you develop in it going through the years, it just naturally takes off on its own, and you just have to trust the process. Right? So those are my 3 that I have as far as that goes. So now I kind of want to back it up a little bit, because I feel like some people are probably like, she's a witch, she's a bruja, she's over here talking all that seduction is a spell shit. Like, you know, seduction is a spell. You don't gotta write shit down or say nothing in no foreign language for people to throw spells on people, especially love spells. Those are one of the oldest historical spells that's ever been talked about, you know? So don't give me that shit. Matter of fact, seduction itself, like I said, it goes back 1,000 years before humans even had written language. It's like people were knowing how to gain the upper hand of their situation by appealing to somebody to get what they wanted, and to make sure that they were able to bend at their will to get what they needed to obtain. So don't act like when I'm saying seduction, like it's just like, oh, it's the end all be all, she's throwing spells on people. Like, knock it off. For real, like, knock it off, okay? So yeah, like I said, it's a spell. It's a spell that helps you engage into the inner world of human behavior. These inner worlds that are challenged among human behavior, I feel like, what time is it? Dang, I already been going for like 26 minutes already. I'm gonna have to chop this down. I'm gonna have to chop this down, Jack, or I'm gonna have to do a part 2 of this or something like that. But, yes. So seduction in its concentrated form is the ultimate ritual. It's the ultimate initiation of surrenderings and power. True seduction is the creation of the perfect victim who relinquishes enough power to another based on the well-trained and well-tailored attachment. You must learn how to dissect others and on the will of the author for any ritual that author has intended for that person, which is you. You're the author that I'm talking about that's setting up the dissection for the deep dive into whoever you're trying to, do a further analysis on. I have broken these up into 2 categories. I don't know if I was going to take a picture of this and just post it up there because I wrote it out and I like the way I wrote it out, but maybe I should go and actually create a graph of it to see if that helps. Just let me know in the comments below if you think I should just do it or just take a picture of it. Whatever you prefer, that's what I'll do. Yes, so I have top seductive types and social roles for women and for men. I'm going to just run through these real quick because I feel like I've already taken up way too much time trying to explain myself, so I wouldn't come off as some seductress, crazy bride who just wants to seduce everybody who I come into contact with, because anybody who knows me definitely know I am not about that life. But so we're going to talk about the seductive types for women. The seductive types for women would be a cold and emotionally distant woman, a delayer of any type of gratification, sexual, intellectual, financial, whatever. Another seductive top trait is intelligence. This third one is more of a blend of all these. You can't just be one or two. You have to be a manifestation blend of all these. And that is holding intelligence, being self-sufficient, and being selfless. Okay? Intelligent, self-sufficient, and selfless. Those are important because it's very hard to be self-sufficient and selfless. Okay? And another trait is the ability to leave anyone or anything at any time. They teach you that in negotiation. If that negotiation offer is not in your favor and it's on the table, you have to be willing to walk away at any time. And I'm dead ass serious. It doesn't matter what it is. If you are a woman, that is a very seductive trait for you to be able to walk away from anything at any time. Okay? Because if you walk away, what's going to happen? If something really wants you, they'll chase after you. Also, you have to have the ability to leave everything about you to the imagination. It has to be like a mystery, almost. So this is the society roles that are the most seductive that fall into these categories of a woman are mother, daughter, wife. It's that simple. So when you're interacting with somebody, that's what's going to that kind of playing that kind of role in their life is going to be highly seductive. To either be their mother, their daughter, or their wife. You better pick one. People got work wives and stuff like that for a reason, For men, it's a little bit different. For men, the top seductive traits is self-sacrificing, to be a rejecter of worldly norms, okay? To be competitive, and to be a protector. The social roles for a man are pretty much the same, the inverse for a woman. So that's father, son, and husband. So if a man, you're out there and you're trying to, see how you could fit in this person's life and you're trying to seduce them, you need to figure out what they lack. If they lack a father figure, which most women do, some women actually do have a good father figure and they're lacking a brother figure, or, there's a lot of women that's alone, they're lacking a husband, leader type figure. Figure out what they're lacking and assert yourself to be that, which also does psychologically help the individual because you're fulfilling something that is a need in their life. So when you fulfill that need, you make them more whole, you make them more better. long as you're not being toxic and shit. Speaking of toxicity, I have the anti-seducing traits. I have the anti-seducing traits broken down into categories for female and for male. I did female last time, so I'm going to go ahead and do... I did female first last time, so I'm going to go ahead and do female first this time. Ladies first anyway. Anti-seductive roles, ladies, are being clingy, needy, or helpless. Nobody wants to deal with no clingy, needy, or helpless woman, which is different than being a damsel in distress. So figure out the difference between some of these. Another one is to be a thottie, to be a Tatiana, to be a thought pocket, thought box, to be a lady of the night, to be a lady of no morals. Those are all wrapped into one thought box, okay? That's anti-seductive. Anybody see you acting like that in public, they is not going to want to deal with you, especially on a business level, professional level, or on an educational level. So, if you want to get put on, think about that. This is going to hurt a lot of ladies. Because this hurt me too, but I had to learn to surrender, you know what I'm saying? And that is to not be so independent. You can't be too overtly independent where you just, I don't need a man. Because that is definitely anti-seductive. Okay? You do need somebody. Okay? And if you are looking for you to seduce somebody or for somebody to seduce you, then you have to create that need in order for that to be fulfilled, boo-boo. So, being too independent where you don't think you need anybody, that is anti-seductive, okay? Another thing that's anti-seductive is being argumentative, and black women and ratchet women, that's a huge thing why a lot of high caliber individuals don't want to have to deal with you. We don't even need to talk about a man. We're talking about individuals. We're talking about business owners, people who do go on vacation quite often, people who have good prestigious jobs, doctors, lawyers, people who don't have time to waste because they know that time is money. They're not going to waste any type of breath on you if you do not know how to present yourself in your argumentative, or your masculine is another one. One thing that I say is a double-edged sword for a woman, if you are deep in your seductive channeling chapter, then you know how to use these. That can work to your advantage, but most of the time, if you're just out there, these are some things that are anti-seductive, or they could work into your advantage if you know what you're doing. And that is the lack of being jealous. So not being jealous, and also your rage. That's anti-seductive. Nobody wants to be raging out and crashing out and shit like that, especially a woman. It can be kind of scary because a man doesn't know how to handle that, and definitely a woman of the opposite sex, she doesn't want to handle that. So know how to conduct yourself, okay, at all times. For men, I have it to be too friendly, too nice, to have no resources. That means you can't take this woman out. You can't take the person that you have interest out anywhere to show them anything new. Like, you have to be able to do that. You cannot think that you're going to seduce somebody by being a person that can't produce any new thoughts or activities or ideas, anything. You have to be able to provoke their mind and keep their mind thinking of you. And they can't be thinking of you if they're thinking about how you don't have any resources to provide them. Everybody wants resources. Every country that goes to another country wants resources. You know what I'm saying? So don't act like we live in this world and people don't rely on resources, because they do. They do. Lack of experience, it goes hand in hand with no resources. Also, a very anti-seductive trait is being too feminine. Being too feminine. If you feel like you are too feminine, make sure you surround yourselves in spaces where there's a lot of masculine men, and hopefully some of that stuff will rub off on you. I don't know. But stop surrounding yourself by feminine men or by feminine energy. You need to be more masculine, watch masculine things, do masculine things to just, pump up the jam. Because that's not seductive, to be too feminine and you're a man. Lastly, it's lack of leadership. You have to be able to lead your victim, whoever you choose, somewhere. Even if it's down the fucking rabbit hole. You have to be able to lead them somewhere. You know what I'm saying? If they can't follow your lead, you have no business thinking that you're doing anything other than being anti-seductive. Straight up. The double-edged sword that I would say for men would be it can work in your favor, but most of the time I feel like it doesn't, because men do not know how to wield these. and that would be being whiny and also being overly calculating. So I feel like those kind of both make sense if you think about it. If you're around somebody and you're trying to seduce them for you to be whining and being overly whiny and just complaining about shit, like that's definitely not seductive. So we want to definitely make sure we're staying away from that. Let's see, what else? I feel like I keep putting my camera down and it keeps like bouncing up, like what the fuck? I keep putting it down and it keeps bouncing up, like what the fuck? Okay, so lastly, I'm just gonna wrap this up. And that's what I was saying is, for your homework, if you guys were interested in this video, please like, share, comment down if you like the content like this and y'all want to see more of these and more breakdowns. I'm going to do another video when I'm actually reading some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about right here. I'm going to read it out loud and give my take on how I feel like you could implement it in your life to be healthy and help heal not only yourself but help heal others through your power of seduction. Over here we use powers for good. We don't, I might be black, but I don't fuck around with that black magic. Oh, what is that Madre? That Madre y Negro. Like, no. So, homework, you guys, is, like I said, if you haven't picked up this book and we're talking about seduction, this would be like the Seduction Bible. As you see, my book has been through it. I love this book. I have things highlighted in this book. I have tabs. I have things that I will always revert back to for the rest of my life as long as I live. I love this book so much. I hope to leave it to, my kids and whoever else. I'll be leaving lots of books to my people, my family, and anybody around. Hopefully I will have enough books where I can create like a library and just donate the whole damn library of books to people. Because I feel like libraries, books, and knowledge is definitely a lost art that we need to hold on to as a society. It is written language, it is written, life that is what shapes us to be who we are. So get the book, Art of Seduction, Robert Greene, he's the author. In this book, it has 9 seductive characters. I want you to read the 9 seductive characters and tell me which one you think you are. Comment down below if you have read it before and you know which one or which ones you are. In this book, there is 6 to 7 anti-seductive behaviors. Check them out because I kind of ran through them with a meager explanation, but it goes into scenarios and historical stories and things like that to support why these are anti-seductive claims. So check that out. My favorite part is 18 seducer victim types. So these are the types of people that you would seduce. These are your victims. These are the people that you look for to fulfill a need in their life, to help make you a better person and them a better person. And you will always have that lifelong connection and network with them. So yeah, there's 18 types. You have to figure out which types are for you. And that's what I love about this book, is because you can read it like right now and you be like, oh, I only want like this 1 or 2 types, but then go back 5 years from now, we read it again, you're like, oh shit, like I didn't end up falling with 3 or 4 of these different types and stuff like that. And it's crazy. It's interesting, and you'll have some of these people like as friends and partners for the rest of your life. Most of the people you probably never had sex with, hopefully, and they'll be there in your corner. Lastly, which is my next favorite part, which would be the 24 seductive processes. And each one of these processes is broken up by 4 phases. So you got phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. And each one of those phases grabs a few chapters and they deep dive into that overall what you're looking for in that seductive process. So, like I said, 9 seductive characters, 6 to 7 anti-seductive behaviors, 18 seducer victim types, 24 seductive processes broken up into 4 phases. So you go ahead and you do the math, and you guys holler at me for show at Sistory Healinghood. You guys can find me on Instagram. I'm ChimarraAli. Follow me on Facebook, ChimarraAli. And definitely make sure you guys subscribe and like the page and everything like that. I will be doing a giveaway soon. I'm going to be giving away Sistory Healinghood boxes to new subscribers because I definitely want more subscribers. So get the word out so your girl can get more subscribers. Okay? Yes. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Be safe and take care.